Hey, demons.
Hey, demons, it's me, yo boy.
Welcome to episode 2 of
Validate Me, where I show my dad stuff that I like, and he shows me stuff that he likes, and we both hope that the other person likes it as well.
Yeah, so last week was my week, and Presley watched Highlander and played some Galaga.
Woo!
And we had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah.
This week is Presley's week to give me assignments, and so I was thinking about that intro, like, Hey Demons, and I was like, oh, I'll do the Hey Demons thing because that'll be kind of funny, and it fits perfectly with what we want to do.
Yeah.
But that means we probably should talk about Buzzfeed first, and then I thought, you know what, it works for both.
Oh my god.
Had you thought about that?
No.
There's a whole radio demons thing from Imagine Dragons.
Yeah.
So it works perfectly.
It
Works perfectly.
Yeah.
So my assignment was to listen to Smoke and Mirrors.
Yes.
In its entirety.
Yes.
From Imagine Dragons.
Well, no, you did not listen to it in its entirety, actually.
I didn't do it in one sitting. But
no,
I
you didn't
listen
to the deluxe edition.
Well, yeah, but I listened to the actual album
The
in its
unreleased
entirety. And I
songs.
actually did listen to the deluxe edition, but I didn't
did?
I didn't take notes for
I'm
the
proud
extra
of
songs.
you.
I did. And then we watched a little Buzzfeed Unsolved.
Woo!
3 episodes?
Yes, 3 episodes.
Yeah, 3 episodes.
And it was
of
all
Buzzfeed.
in Supernatural because I
They
will
were
make him
all
do true crime, postmortems, and the hot dog on later episodes.
Yeah, so the point was and is of this podcast is for Presley to kind of talk to me about stuff that she loves that I haven't seen or read or whatever consumed in some way. And she tells me she can control like 4 hours of my week, and I consume that media, and then we get together here and talk about
Woo.
it. And then we take turns. The next time I'll give her more stuff. And I already know what her assignment is.
Yes.
I'm going to have to write it down here in a second so I don't forget.
And this is the first time we talk about it, by the way. This is like
Yeah,
completely
this is cold conversation. We haven't talked about this at all.
And you have slightly foreshadowed that you may not like a little bit of it, and I'm about to fight you.
There has been stuff that I wanted to say, but I haven't said anything because we wanted to do it here. I do want housekeeping to get out of the way. If you're listening to this on the podcast, there are a couple. You could also consume this on our YouTube channel, which is ActOutGames.
Yes.
On Fridays, we'll be posting a video, and you can kind of see us talk a little bit if you want to. Sometimes it's probably going to be an edited version that won't be a complete version. The podcast will be more complete potentially. You also, if you want to reach out and sort of say hi and give us some feedback or suggest some things to watch or do or anything, if you want to reach out in any way, how do you do that, Presley?
So we are at Validate Me Cast on Twitter.
Yep.
And at Validate Me Podcast, Gmail at Validate Me Podcast. Maybe?
No, you don't even know how to do an email address because
I don't,
you're so...
No, I know how to do it. It's
validatemepodcast
at gmail.com.
That's right.
I'm not
there
that...
were way too many ats
I'm not that
in
little.
that sentence that you were trying to put together.
I was trying to say at Gmail. We are on Gmail.
You were saying we were at validatemepodcast at gmail at... which is not how that works.
Validatemepodcast at gmail.com.
Validatemepodcast at gmail.com for email, or at ValidateMeCast on Twitter. Yeah. Or if you go watch the YouTube video, you can respond in the comments. Lots of people are responding there. I actually meant to go dig out some of the comments to talk about during episode 2, but we'll do that in episode 3. If you comment on this one or on the previous one, then we'll talk about you guys in episode 3. Cool. So what was my homework? We already talked about it a little bit. What was my homework? Now that we got the housekeeping out of the way.
Your homework was to listen to Smoke and Mirrors by Imagine Dragons.
Yep.
Which is what I'm considering to be their second album. Like, they did release things before Night Visions, but I'm going to consider it their second album.
Okay.
And to watch 3 episodes of Buzzfeed Unsolved Supernatural.
Yeah. And who are the guys on Buzzfeed Unsolved?
Shane and Ryan. Shane Madej and Ryan Bergara.
Oh, and if you didn't get the intro here, I'll go a little.
Hey there, demons. It's me, your boy.
So I think this is the entire reason that Presley
Hey there, demons. It's me, your boy.
That episode.
Yeah, that is the entire reason I wanted you to watch that episode.
One of the primary
It is a good
reasons.
episode, though. Every episode is good.
It is a good episode. And maybe he was talking about Imagine Dragons. There's like a loop. Like Imagine Dragons sings about Justin Bieber.
They do not!
And then Buzzfeed Unsolved talks about Imagine Dragons.
They do not talk about Justin Bieber.
All right, cool. So do you want to do Buzzfeed Unsolved or Imagine Dragons first? You're in charge.
My notes are in order of Imagine Dragons first, but
okay, cool.
that
Let's
doesn't
go.
matter.
All right.
Cool. All right. So, Smoke and Mirrors, really good album. Is my favorite album. So, what are your general thoughts before we go into every song?
I liked it overall.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good. It's big arena rock, and I've kind of got a soft spot for some big arena rock. So overall, all right, I'm gonna read some stuff every once in a while.
Oh my god.
I can't remember. I read a lot of reviews. Mm-hmm. Like I went out and read some reviews of the album, and we'll touch on a couple of those things. Yeah, and this one actually came from the Washington Post. Allison Stewart of the Washington Post. I don't know who that is.
Am I about to fight Allison Stewart?
You might. So her quote, which I think was actually an excellent quote, is that the band is very good at what it does, even if what it does isn't very good.
Excuse me. What do you? That could be taken a lot of ways.
Right. I think I like the way that that's written. Right. Because I think they're very talented at what they do, and I think it's the perfect for me. Almost every song on there is the perfect kind of music to hear over the end credits of a movie.
Yeah.
Because like arena rock, right? Like you're in the movie theater, it's a big wall of sound. There's a lot going on. I am going to say it was a little bit more complex than I expected it to be. Not super complex, but it was more complex. I thought it was going to be more shallow than it was. It was a little more shallow musically than I would like for it to have been. But the lyrics, had some stuff going on, which I thought I was
good.
I was kind of interested. So overall, that's what I would say.
Yes,
it's a little like bubblegum arena pop for my sensibilities. But yeah, actually going through genius.com and paying attention to the lyrics and spending some time with it, I liked it. We'll talk about some of the individual songs.
It's a good album. It's my favorite one.
Yeah, there was another one while I'm talking about some of the reviews.
I'm not wearing my Imagine Dragons shirt.
I think that's okay. No, it's a podcast. So this is they're trying to cram as many popular styles as possible into a mainstream rock album to appeal to as many people as it can. No. I think there is a little, there's a lot of, I was kind of going to ask you about appropriation, right? Because there are a lot of different musical styles, world music and rap and EDM and like all these other things that sort of come into music. And you're very sensitive culturally in the way that we talk about a lot of things about appropriation.
Yeah.
So do you feel musically, what is the conversation around cultural appropriation?
I mean, musically? They're not taking, there is obviously music genres that are from and created by a very specific culture.
Yeah, sure.
But I didn't really see anything that I feel like what the line between just using stuff from another culture and appropriating culture is if the culture does not want you to do it. If that is a special if it is specific to that culture and they don't want other people using it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff about hip hop and even Elvis taking R&B from the black community and wrapping it up in a package that white people was okay to listen to, and then he makes it millions of dollars and then becomes successful. There's a big debate about those kinds of things. Yeah. But I kind of like hearing a lot of influences in the music and hearing them do a lot of things. So I actually thought that was pretty cool. I'll give you one more. This is the last thing I've got as far as reviews go, but. I thought this was hilarious, actually. So this is from Rolling Stone. And Rolling Stone's job is to be snarky. That's part of what Rolling Stone is about. But you're supposed to be pretty clever in the way that you do it. And so John Dolan did the review for this album. And just one of the lines that I pulled out of it was, every time a dragon bangs a floor tom, a member of Nickelback sheds a tear. Which I think, that's perfect Rolling Stone snark. Right, because in concert, Imagine Dragons has these huge drums, right? That they beat on and do. It's a big theatrical kind of thing, right?
It's cool.
And then Nickelback has always been the band that it's kind of cool to hate, right? That's the thing, and I think Imagine Dragons has got a little bit of that. They've got a little bit of the rep.
Listen. Yeah. This is entirely because I think not because they're a bad band, but just because they're super popular. So people are haha, hate the popular thing.
I think that's totally true.
I don't think they're actually very bad.
Yeah, did you know, one of the things I found out was that, what is Radioactive was on what album?
Radioactive was on Night Vision.
Night Vision's only got to number 3 on or maybe it was Radioactive only got to the single emo. Only got up to number 3. I totally would have expected that was a number 1 song for a long time.
Yeah, definitely. I would have expected.
But this Smoke and Mirrors went to the top and was on the top of the charts for a long time and did a ton of stuff. I was actually super impressed with the performance of that. Okay, cool. So do you want to talk about some songs?
Cool. Okay, talk about songs. Hold on, I have notes.
Or something else. What else?
I'm hiding my notes under the table, by the way.
Well, you don't have to do that again. Once again, it's a podcast.
Well, yeah, but there's cameras behind me.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Is it because of all the profanity that's in your notes?
Yeah, there's a lot of profanity in my notes because that's just how I type.
I had Presley send me a copy of her notes so that I could print them out and have them, and it was just a profanity-laden mess like you guys would not believe. what Presley put on her
that's
notes.
That's just how I speak.
Maybe we'll take like a redacted version of it and post it on the Patreon page so people can kind of see what Presley in her natural habitat is like.
Listen,
but it's not for the weak of heart.
I thought these notes were only for me. I didn't know that you were going to be reading them or anything.
Yeah, it was pretty.
This is also how I talk to my friends and everything. This is just how I speak.
Yeah. Okay.
I use a lot of profanity. It's good. It's useful.
Yeah. So
anyway.
hide your notes.
Hiding. Yeah. I'm just realizing it every time I see a swear word. I will say it is like this is just really specific to me, but it is really, really loud sometimes. Really loud, which makes it hard for me to listen.
They do that thing where they start one of the songs really quiet.
Is
and
that?
You're like,
are you talking about I'm So Sorry?
And then you turn the radio up, and then suddenly it kicks. And it's just a trick, and it's just mean.
It's not. It's really cool. I'm So Sorry's intro is my favorite intro to a song. I think it's really cool.
They do some really weird sound stuff every once in a while, where they had like I think on Radioactive, like the beginning of Radioactive, there's this weird. The drums are really muffled. And it's just not real clear sounding. Like, clearly there's something in the mix that they did intentionally. And every time it comes on, when those drums first hit, I'm always thinking, like, man, that's a really bad recording. Like, I don't know why. But clearly they did it on purpose because the rest of the song sounds normal. But they do some weirdness with the mixing, too. Like, clearly he's a pretty creative guy. Right?
Yeah.
And I assume that, like, the lead singer is kind of the driving force behind the band. Yeah. Like, in everything I read, he seems like he does a lot of the writing and he's kind of the creative force behind the band. Mm-hmm. So he seems like a really creative guy for sure.
Yeah.
And he sings a lot about how creative he is.
Okay, listen. Some of these songs I understand. I think I know which song you're talking about, and we will go into that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Anyway, what is your favorite song on the album?
Gold, hands down.
Gold. It is so good.
That's easy.
Gold is a good song.
That's an easy answer. Yeah. And Gold, probably musically, Gold is my favorite. I don't know that lyrically it's my favorite.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but musically it is. Because Gold, again, the theme of this album, in general, I think, is it sucks to be rich and famous. Right?
Well,
because that's kind of what gold is, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, hey, everything I touch turns to gold, and you have no idea how terrible that is to live my life, right? And I think it is a theme a little bit in that it's terrible sometimes to get what you want. Like, it's a little deeper than, hey, feel sorry for me. I'm a billionaire playing sold out arenas. But it is like, this is not what I thought it would be. Like, now that I'm here, and maybe even some of the things I had to do to get here, I think were a little questionable. Mm-hmm. And he's religious. He's a Mormon.
Yes.
And so there's definitely some religious beats to some of the lyrics about, have I done things I shouldn't have done to pay for my fame and fortune, right? So he kind of talks about that a little bit. Yeah. And Gold is a little bit of that. And there's a couple of other songs that come back and touch on. I think I Bet My Life was a little bit of that. Yeah, we'll get to some other.
Let's talk about Gold.
But yeah, Gold was my favorite musically. Like, I liked because it sounded the least like the other songs on the album. Like, one of my least favorite things with a band is when it's really kind of hard to tell their songs apart. For a casual listener, like, I mean, obviously if you're into it and you can tell them apart, but like, and I'm going to say something that's going to make a lot of people listening mad, but like Dave Matthews is like that for me.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, it's okay. I know one person in particular who's not going to like that I said that. One of my favorite things to say about when somebody asks me what I think about Dave Matthews is, I like their song. Like, that's one. They've got a really good song that they've played like 12 times on every album that they've ever played.
That was songs on the radio that sound like exactly the same.
Yeah. Like, there's nothing wrong with that song that Dave Matthews plays all the time. It's a really good song, but it's not.
It's the same one.
It's kind of the same one. But and this Imagine Dragons has got a little taste of that for me.
Yeah, I honestly don't know because I'm like obsessed with all of their music, so I can tell them from the first beat.
Yeah, I'm sure it's me and my casual listeningness, and it's just not totally being my genre. Okay. Yeah. What else do you have to say about Gold?
Okay. Gold. It is. I love the Midas imagery, just because I'm sure like all of you watching know this. I am a huge Greek mythology nerd. Yeah. It's like my favorite thing. I know a lot about it, and I love the am I saying Midas right?
Yeah.
I think I am.
Yeah, you are.
I love the Midas imagery so much just because I think it's a really cool thing, and the theme of the song, like you were saying, is sort of like now that is like being rich isn't all it's made up to be, and like I think the song specifically is kind of about people being very untrustworthy.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of that on the album too, for sure.
So, and I think that Midas is a really cool image to bring to that song. And also, I'm a Greek mythology nerd, so it won me over because it was
like
Midas.
The depth of Midas is pretty cool because it's like the perils of the golden touch, right? And Midas couldn't eat, right? Because every time he touched something, it turned to gold, and so he couldn't eat.
Eat with your other hand.
Wait, it wasn't one.
Oh,
hand.
I thought it was his finger.
Yeah, like one thing. Like so, there were issues with Midas, and like dealing with the ability to turn things to gold.
Was Midas Dionysus' fault?
I have no.
I'm pretty sure it's Dionysus.
I think
that seems like something Dionysus
would do. Yeah, that sounds like something Dionysus would do, but I have no idea if that's who it was. Okay, cool.
Anyway, I really love the bridge in this song. This is a note that shows up a lot, but I really, really love the bridge of this song.
Yeah, I do too.
And I just think it's just such a good song. I think this is the most likely song for anyone watching who hasn't listened to the album for them to have heard before. And I'm
really?
just saying
I
this.
Bet My Life was.
Yes, I know you've heard I Bet My Life before, right?
That's what I'm saying. I think that's the one that when they get to the hook of I Bet My Life, you're like, oh, okay, that song. Yeah, I know that song. Yeah.
But like, I think, well, maybe it's just me and going through a phase of watching edgy 2009 Warrior Cats AMVs because that song was very popular.
Yeah. So I wouldn't assume that most of the audience has spent a lot of time watching 2009 Warrior Cats AMVs where they're really familiar with that song.
Well, not like super familiar, but like a lot of
but
like,
I Bet My Life
internet.
was on the radio, like constantly. So yeah,
radio, casual, a lot of stuff on the internet has used gold before, and I know that.
Okay, cool. I liked it.
It was a good song. I really like that song. Anyways, let's start going in order now.
All right.
We're gonna start with Shots, which is the first song.
I like Shots too.
It's a good song. Yeah. It's during my first listen, I honestly wasn't kind of into it, but then after I listened to it a few times, I'm like, this is a good song. I like this song.
It grew on me a little. I actually listened to that one a few times. It grew on me for sure.
It's a really good song.
Yeah.
The music video is super. Can I say that? Maybe not. Whatever. The music video is weird, and it's like I'm trying to think of a synonym for the word I want to use.
We'll just use the word you want to use, and we'll edit it.
Can I say trippy? Is that a thing I can say?
Oh,
okay. I was like, drugs, whatever.
Whatever. Yeah,
it's a super trippy music video.
It is a trippy music video.
It's really cool.
I don't have a lot to say about it.
I like the mixing in the music video between animation and real life because I think
how
that's on
much
purpose.
do you think that they have their music videos sync with the meaning of the lyrics? Because that one certainly didn't seem to. Like, it was a cool thing of recreating these paintings and doing the surrealist kind of thing, but it didn't really seem to me like it had a ton to do with the actual...
Not a lot of their music videos have a lot to do with the song. I'm just gonna say that. The radioactive music video is really,
they're like
really,
a separate
really
piece
weird.
of art in and of themselves, right?
Yes.
And they stand alone as a separate piece of art.
Yes, hold on.
I don't know.
Like, yeah.
I think only 3 or 4 of these songs had videos.
Yeah. Especially if you see Radioactive's music video, that has nothing to do with the song. It's the weirdest music video I've ever watched. It's very confusing. Okay. It's about a stuffed animal fight club.
I can show you some music videos that are weirder, I bet.
Well, at least do they make sense because the song? Okay, and then Smoke and Mirrors, which is the title. What do you call that? The title of the album is also the title of the song.
Eponymous?
Sure.
I think it's the...
I thought there was a word that it... I'm trying to think of a word. It's like poster child, but it's not. I don't think it's poster child.
Yeah, it's definitely not poster child.
Whatever. That.
Yeah, the eponymous single, which means the single with the same name as the album.
Yes.
Yeah.
Should be
if you have a movie that's like Percy Jackson,
Woo!
then Percy Jackson is the eponymous character of the Percy Jackson movies.
It's a book.
Oh, well, it's also a movie. I know
don't
you
speak
don't want to
of the movie.
That it's a movie, but it is a movie. Maybe I'll make you watch that again.
No, it has to be something you like.
All right, so here's my notes on Smoke and Mirrors. It's a little poppy.
Yeah.
Which again is not totally my thing. And then it's dreamy.
Yeah.
Which really again fits with the theme, I think, of the overall album. That kind of, you can't, like you said, like you don't know who to trust.
Yeah.
So this is a thing about fame. Like, this is a real thing, drawback about fame, certainly, right? Anyone you've met after you became famous or rich, you don't know if you can trust them. You don't know if they like you because of your fame and fortune, or if they really like you, and you can never know for sure. And actually, that ties in really interestingly with Turtles All the Way Down. The book that Presley and I are listening to in the car.
It's a really good book.
New book, which is fantastic. You should totally listen to, by the way. But there's a thing in there, a theme certainly about I don't know if people like me for my money or because of who I am as a person. And so I think Smoke and Mirrors lyrically did a good job of talking about that. And the music was a little dreamy that fit along with kind of the dreamy thing. So hey, kudos. That's nicely done.
Yeah. One of my notes is Like the I don't even know, like it's not, some of the lyrics in Imagine Dragons songs I cannot hear. Like the pain in that is Taylor Swift. Like I can't hear them because they're really loud. Like
Excuse
the pain
me while I kiss this guy.
the pain in Believer, I couldn't hear that because it was so loud. And that's the case for, there's a lyric, Open Up My Mind.
You also can't hear when he actually says believer.
He does not say believer.
That's another thing you can't hear.
This is an argument that's been going on for a while. He does not.
At least one of those says believer.
How do you hear that? Why were you thinking about Justin Bieber when you listened to that song?
I wasn't. If some dude, if somebody walks up to me and says he was a believer, I start thinking about Justin Bieber.
He doesn't. That's a very hard thing to hear.
Yeah.
Whatever.
All right. Smoke and Mirrors.
Yeah.
Or you want to go to I'm So Sorry?
Yeah!
All right.
This is my favorite song on the album. I really like this song.
So this is the one I wrote, Quiet Start. As
Yeah.
in, like, what's going on here?
It's really quiet, and
when it came on downstairs, I was listening to it on my laptop downstairs, or actually on the speakers hooked up to my laptop downstairs, and Presley was up here in the loft on her computer, and so she heard it come on, and she just yells downstairs, "Don't turn it up!" Because she knew that I would do that. Please don't turn it up. It's gonna be fine. And so yeah, that was pretty funny actually.
This is coming from personal experience though, because when I was first listening to the album, because I discovered it actually after I was a big fan of Imagine Dragons. So when I was listening to the album for the first time, I was listening to it and I had like sort of wonky headphones at the time.
Yeah.
So it being quiet wasn't a weird thing. So I just turned up my volume and I fell off my chair when the song started.
Yeah.
It was really scary.
And I also noted that this one was pretty bluesy.
Oh, was it?
So yeah, so it was a little more in my wheelhouse because of the bluesiness of the music. So again, that's where they're borrowing some of those things from, and I like that. I mean, there's this subtle variety. Like while overall, I feel like the songs sound very similar. Like there's a little bluesy influence in this one. Right? They're taking this song. This is the bluesy cover of that song. And now this is the hip hop cover of that song, and then the EDM cover of that song, right? They're all like remixes, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, cool. All right, Bet My Life.
Bet My Life. Yeah, this is my first note is I'm 9,000% sure you've heard this song before. Specifically you. Because I think I remember like listening to it in the car and you being like, "Oh, I know this song," and I was like, "You do?" Because I didn't expect you to know anything on Smoke and Mirrors.
I had at least heard it. Yeah, and like Presley knows, I don't really listen to the radio in the car. I listen to I listen to NPR or an audiobook or like podcasts and stuff like that. So I really don't. I'm not a huge pop music guy, so I'm not listening to top 40 a lot in the car. So a lot of times if I'm in the car with Presley or Mom, like that's when the radio's playing, and then they like to make fun of me because I don't know who anybody is on the song. That's one of the favorite games we play when we're driving. Is Dad? Who's this?
I do it to Mommy too sometimes, but I do it mostly to you.
I liked this one. This was the big stadium song though for me. Yeah. Like this is the one again over the end credits of a movie, like blaring in a dark room, like really loud over the sound system. Like I could totally see that one working in that case.
It's a good. I
feel like I've probably heard it at the end of a movie.
I think I've seen this in a few emo MVs also.
I would certainly believe that happening. This one I thought I actually put a couple of interesting things in here. One was it's about his parents.
It is.
Right.
I think that's really cool.
So it's about him saying to his parents, "Whoops." Like, maybe I should have listened to you guys a little bit more. Although, once again, like this one was an interesting thing for me where, like, he's kind of saying, "Hey, you told me not to do this." Right. And I read a little bit, again, like interviews and stuff about him. So I guess, like, he's got some brothers that are more like traditionally successful, like doctor, lawyer kind of successful, and his parents wanted him to follow in that path, and he's like, no, I'm going to drop out of college and become a rock star, and you'll see. And then he's singing a song that's like, "Oh, I should have listened to you guys." I'm like, yeah, maybe not. Like, you're one of the biggest rock stars, and I'm like, that might have been a good decision you made there, right? So clearly there's other stuff going on that he's kind of apologizing for, right? And then I thought it was interesting that musically it sort of went, and lyrically as well, I think, it kind of went from melancholy to upbeat. Like it made this nice, like the rising action. If you've ever, that's a deep cut too. It's from Cake's long skirt and short jacket music video. I missed the rising action. That's a deep cut. I'll make you watch that one day. So there's kind of this rising action both in the music and then lyrically, and he does it in a really cool way where the "I bet my life" kind of line can be is used in the song in some places to be a little melancholy, and in some places to be more sort of triumphant, which I think is really cool. And that came from me partly in the verb bet. It's getting really deep analysis here, right? The word bet could mean present tense or past tense, right? I bet my life. Back when I was a kid, I bet my life that I was going to be a rock star, and now I bet my life on you.
Yeah.
So you don't even have to change the word, and so you have to like think about, does he mean past tense here or present tense here? And so lyrically, that was kind of a cool little twist for me to kind of play around with the language. I like that.
Yeah, it's a really cool song, and I really like it. Polaroid. This one is in my notes in all caps.
This one had my favorite lyric in it.
Which one?
I'm the color of boom.
That's what I had my note on that, because it doesn't make sense to me.
Well, like he talked in one of the earlier songs, I can't remember which one it was now because I didn't write it down, but he says like I'm dynamite waiting to explode, or I'm an explosion waiting to happen, or something. Like when he's talking about himself, a lot of times he describes himself as like a fuse that's lit and something. I'm going to destroy stuff, right? Like I have this good stuff going on around me and I'm just waiting for it to end because I'm a stick of dynamite, right? And so he's the color of boom. That's what I got out of it. Like I just think it's a cool sounding line because you don't know what it means. It's not obvious. It's not on the nose. It's this kind of I'm the color of boom. And he says it a couple of times and uses it in different... I liked that line a lot, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of which song you're referring to now.
We'll find it. There's a couple. Yeah.
I should know this because I listen to this album like every day, but it's blanking on me.
Yeah. There's the one where he keeps. It's later where he keeps talking about how bad he is. Like I'm this, but there's this. I can't remember. Well, I think it's in my notes somewhere.
We'll talk about it.
I thought that was really cool, and I like the Polaroid imagery. I think is pretty neat.
Yes.
Like the idea that, when you look at a Polaroid, you look at a picture of something. Especially a photograph. Like, it's true of all photographs, but Polaroid is like this instant picture of this one snapshot,
I know
right?
what a Polaroid is.
I mean, I'm just trying to describe, like, not actually what it is, but, like, conceptually.
Okay.
Like, there's this thing of this picture in time, and when you look at that, you think about the good times, right? And that, like, life is better in fiction. The fiction of your past is better than it was to live it. And so, sort of being there. Then... Yeah. So
I really like the lyric, love is a Polaroid, better in a picture,
never
can
fill the void. This is totally the song. This says bad things about him, and how did it come to this? So this is the song where he's talking about what a horrible person he is. Because he keeps saying, I'm a blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yes. I'm going to actually, I know this. Okay, I thought you were talking about a different song.
No,
this song is really good. I'm going to do a cover of this song, actually.
Oh, this is the one you're going to do? Okay, cool.
Because I really like this song.
Because you're the color of boom?
I thought it was bone for a really long time.
Oh, no, it's boom.
And I was like, oh, it's boom. Okay.
Really boom.
Yeah, my favorite, like, he has these, like, they change every time he sings it, but my favorite one is, I'm a reckless mistake, I'm a cold night's intake. Wait, no, that's not that one. Never mind. That's a different song.
No, that's this one, isn't it?
No, it's not a different song, a different line in this song.
Yeah.
It is, I'm a first, like, I'm just say the bit of it I like. I'm a first class letdown. I'm a shut up, sit down.
Yeah, I'm a shut up, sit down. I did like I'm a shut up, sit down. It was a nice line.
I like that.
It wasn't as good as Color of Boom, but it's a solid line.
I personally think the song is really relatable. Specifically, the line that I had is, all my life I've been living in the fast lane, can't slow down, I'm a rolling freight train.
Yeah.
I really like that, and I relate to it a lot because I don't really slow down ever.
Yeah, no, I liked Polaroid.
It's a good song.
Yeah.
Next is Friction. My main note, which is just the one part at the very end where they just scream, yeah. I have taken that out and sent it to my friends.
I wrote this like 3 days ago, and I already don't know what my notes mean because I've just got, hey, friction and fiction sound a lot alike.
That's a great note.
I don't know why.
That's a good
Because I was thinking like Polaroid had to do with fiction, like he mentioned fiction is better in fiction or something like that, and so I was like, oh, friction and fiction sounded a lot alike. That meant something to me a couple of days ago. So this is another one that's more like how much it sucks to be famous and rich. It was definitely the vibe of this song.
No, actually, like the way I interpreted this song at least is people like you right now are complaining about him being famous, and he is saying, don't complain about me saying all the bad things about being famous unless you've been through what I've been through. I thought that was really cool. I really like that.
I think the reason I think I said this is because he's saying, you can't fight
you can't fight the friction, so ease it off.
But it also, I think you can't fight the fiction.
That's cool.
Right? Like, you can't fight what people are saying about you. Like, so that's why I had the friction and fiction kind of have they sound very similar, right?
That's cool.
That it may be him saying, like, people are just saying all these horrible things about us, and it's not true, but I can't fight it. I can't do anything about it. And so this was one that I found some other people talking about that I thought was interesting, because it's like, ease it off, right? And so, like, there are people who thought that was a reference potentially to self-harm.
Oh, no.
People that thought it was a reference to drugs, maybe. Like, how does he ease it off? Like, what is the ease it off mechanism that you use?
Weird.
You can't fight it. You can't do anything about it, so ease it off.
Yeah.
Like, what do you maybe it's yoga. I don't know. But, like, which would be better than self-harm? I hope it's yoga, too. I hope it's yoga.
I thought you were going to say yogurt.
But I thought that was an insightful thing that I read, probably on Genius, where people were talking about, like, ease it off, maybe a reference to self-harm, because that's how people who self-harm talk about what they're doing. So I thought that was really interesting. So I lyrically, I like this one.
That's a cool song. I just keep going. I love the guitar in this song. This is the song I was talking about when I was telling you I want to learn the guitar. When I pick up guitar again, I want to learn the guitar in this song.
Okay.
This is the one I was talking about.
Yep.
And I just want to go back to the because I really like that and my notes, because I don't remember these very well, because I think I wrote them down when I was about to go to sleep, and I had just listened to the entire album. And it is.
I've got another funny note coming up too.
My note is me when I see a post about Red Rising. That's my note for that, which is relatable.
It probably ties with one of the lyrics.
It's a good yes. Anyway, back to It Comes Back to You, which I don't have a lot of notes on. Whoops.
No, this one again has a lyric that I like.
Which one?
It's the shadow you drew. I'm the shadow you drew, or something like that. And I wrote that's double ethereal, because it's a drawing, so it's not the real thing, and it's a drawing of a shadow, not even a drawing of the real thing.
Cool.
So the shadow you drew is like a double abstraction from the real thing that would be there. So it makes him like even less. And then there's a shadow line in BuzzFeed that we'll talk about later that I thought was super funny. Okay. I said,
that's what shadows tend to do.
My next line is, it's a little sappy.
A little? Whoa.
I don't even really remember this one, but I wrote it's a little sappy.
I just I only have 2 notes on this. It's very, very, very underrated. This is an underrated song on this album, and I don't see why. Like, because it's a good song. I guess it's just because I don't, like, even I have listened to this song a million times. I don't have a lot of notes on it to talk about.
Yeah, no, this is I didn't realize this was this song, right? But he says, you could call it cowardice and leave me in my studied bliss.
Yeah.
It's one of the last lines of the thing. Right? And as I read about that and read more of the lyrics, this was a thing that has been something I've thought about for a long time, right? And it is like potential, right? And so when I was a kid, like in high school or whatever, like I had a ton of potential. Like I could have been anything and done anything and gone anywhere, right? And so my note here is, you can be anything until you're one thing.
Yeah.
So you can be anything you want to be until you pick a thing. And then you become that thing, or you start becoming that thing, and other things kind of fade away, right? And it seems like in this one, he's talking about living in that space of potential. And if you want to preserve your potential to be anything, you have to never become anything.
Yeah.
So you just become potential, right? And so I think that's what he's saying with it. You could call it cowardice and leave me to my studied bliss, right? So there's me. Even though I have the potential to become this person, I'm not becoming that person. And people would call that being a coward and saying you don't want to become that. You're not brave enough to become this person. But he's saying I'm in my studied bliss, where I know all of these things I can be. Like mentally, I have this mental image and these things. I can learn all of these things and I can do all of these things. And I'm in bliss right now. And as soon as I go down a path, maybe I'll fail, maybe I lose the opportunity to be all of these other things. And so right now, sitting in this infinite potential, I'm buried in my studied bliss. And you think I'm a coward because I'm not becoming one of the things that I talk about that I could become if I wanted to. Like, I think that's a really and that may be maybe me bringing a whole lot of baggage to that song.
That's what you're supposed to do with songs.
Yeah, but that's what I got out of it. I thought that one was really cool. Okay,
all right. Dream. I really like this song, and my notes. Okay, hold on. I have to think about what this note means.
Yeah, it took me a minute to get mine too. Mine just goes, privilege?
That's about what mine says. I can't say mine on the podcast.
I'm sure you can.
I will tell it is
redacted version on Patreon later.
Go follow our Patreon. Yeah, I love the vibe in this song. It's a good vibe.
Yeah, so my next line explained my privilege line. It says, everything is a mess in the world, but we live in bubbles. Right?
Yeah.
And so, like, we live in this bubble where everything's pretty good for us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easy to ignore the world falling apart around you.
Yeah.
And you can, like, see it on the news every once in a while, or you read some story, and you're like, oh, that's so sad that person had to do that, right? But there are people, you know, within a few blocks of where we're sitting that have like a horrible life or have some plight that they're faced with.
Mm-hmm.
That's a terrible struggle for them. And while we try and think about it every once in a while or do something like charitable giving or get involved in some way, most of the time we just kind of slip back into our own bubble and, you know, act like everything is fine around us. And I don't remember the actual lyrics of the song, honestly, now that I'm looking at it, but I remember now that I was listening to the thing that when I was listening to it, that's the vibe I was getting. Was that, hey, yeah, everything's fine in my life, and I'm going to act like everything's okay, but the world's really just burning down around me, and I'm just kind of ignoring it, and most people live their life that way.
Yeah.
That's what I got out of it.
I really like some of the last lyric. Well, like, I think it's part of the chorus, too, but specifically the last lyric, because that's what I remember best, is, I want to dream, leave me to dream. Mm-hmm. And that comes to a thing that I think about a lot is, like, is it really better to know the truth? Like, this came up when we were watching The Matrix.
Yeah.
Is it really better
totally.
to know the truth than to be happy?
Excellent insight.
And
Excellent insight.
I was like, and this is a good song.
It's like Cypher, right? The guy that went back into the Matrix. That got plugged back in. Because he's like, I don't care. I won't know. Like, I'll be happy as could possibly be. I'm going to be a rock star in the Matrix.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to know that I'm in the Matrix. So I'm going to be really happy. So what difference does it make that I'm plugged in?
Yeah. I really like that because, and I feel like the Matrix, well, now we're talking about the Matrix, I feel like the Matrix has a different meaning to, like, my generation because it's closer to what we experience.
Yeah, you know,
like
that's really phenomenal, Poochon. Once again, super phenomenal, right? Like, it may be that my generation sees it as like a good thing to escape the Matrix, and your generation is like, yeah, why would you ever leave that? Like,
yeah,
that's totally awesome.
Because we're already in the
Matrix.
Matrix.
Me back in, right? That's brilliant. We should totally have a conversation about that at some point. Excellent insight, Poochon. That's your insight of the podcast.
Yay, that's my
like
insight.
A ding. Presley's insight.
Good morning. Okay. Oh, this is trouble, which I also didn't have a lot of notes on because my notes are Mariah Carey.
Nice.
And this song gets stuck in my head a lot.
So my notes are, he's talking about photographs again. And it's forgettable even though it repeats a lot.
It's not actually...
That was probably my rudest
This
comment.
song gets stuck in my head all the time. And the reason I wrote Mariah Carey is because you have to listen to the song. The intro sounds like the intro to All I Want for Christmas Is You.
It was just like, he just said that same line like 50 times, but I can't remember what it is.
Really?
Yeah, I was totally... Remember we were talking about, what was The Accountant. You and I went and saw Did you go see The Accountant with me? The movie about the accountant assassin?
No, that sounds amazing.
I know, on its surface, I know, it sounds remarkable, right? And it's Batman, whatever his name is. Who's Batman right now? Mommy, who's Batman?
I was like...
Good Will Hunting.
Bruce Wayne.
Good Will Hunting's buddy. Ben Affleck. So Ben Affleck,
he's Batman right now?
Ben Affleck is an autistic assassin accountant.
Relatable.
Which is...
That's kind of gross, though, because I don't think he actually is autistic.
I don't think he is either. I don't think he's an assassin. But that's,
that doesn't matter. He's not autistic. That's nasty.
Yeah. I saw that movie. I don't think you went with me. So I went like late at night and I watched the movie. And then the next day, I saw something on TV and there was like some kids playing or something. And I was like, oh yeah, that totally reminds me of that movie where those kids were playing in the courtyard. Like, what was that movie? And I was like trying to think back to my childhood of when this movie was that I saw. And then I was like, oh my God, that was yesterday. was the like I had so forgotten that movie already by the next day that it was like an ancient, super past memory.
Well, never mind. That movie doesn't sound cool anymore.
Yeah, that song was a lot like that movie for me.
Well, at least we're not doing nasty neurotypical things.
Although
in the song,
Summer is the next song, yeah.
I love Summer.
I have no notes for Summer. I literally have 0 notes for Summer.
Really?
Yeah, I like the fall better than I like the summer. But yeah, okay. Yeah, you can go ahead with Summer because I don't know anything about it.
I like Summer because it's a good song, and also Hopeless Opus is in between the summer and fall, by the way.
Yeah. I know. Let's move through these a little bit.
I like Summer because it's like reminds me. It's how am I gonna? My note is distractedness because it's like it very much creates this vibe of just being distracted during the summer, and like one of the lines is like, I don't want to go. What will we? No, that's Lord. Never mind. That's Lord's song. that's Sober by Lord. I was listening to Melodrama yesterday.
You can't even keep them all straight.
I don't. No, it's just because this song is that's a Lord lyric. I think there's a lyric similar to it in this song. Yeah. But, like, what are we gonna do when we go back to not being distracted in summer?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's this song. I am thinking of Sober, definitely, but I think there's a lyric similar to it in this song. Okay. Anyway, Hopeless Opus.
Hopeless Opus. I liked Hopeless Opus.
Happy song, sad words. That's my note.
Yeah, and you and I have talked about that. You really love that model
because that is my favorite thing in music is when there's a really like the lyrics are ridiculously like depressing and sad, but the beat is very like happy and it's a very.
This is another one that really reminded me of John Green for some reason. Turtles All the Way Down. Because I've got to think in here about writing your own story versus being written about, or being a painter versus being the canvas. And sort of John Green's got that line in his book about
that's a good line.
Your life is a story that's being told about you. Mm-hmm. You're not the one telling it. Like I thought that was really great. Or you're not the painting, you're the canvas.
Yeah.
Or you're not the painter, you're the canvas. I thought that was really interesting. And this song had some of that. Mm-hmm. And then there was some What's Become of Me. So this is again going back to the this may be not what he envisioned it being. Mm-hmm. When he was coming this way. And I wrote Kurt Cobain. It really reminds me of Kurt Cobain.
Oh, yeah.
You know Kurt Cobain?
Yeah, I know. I know a little bit about Kurt
Nirvana
Cobain.
is probably going to be on your homework at some point, so you might as well get ready for that.
I didn't listen to Nirvana.
So, he became like ridiculously famous, but hated it. Mm-hmm. Like the sort of celebrity part of it, and he felt like they kind of sold out and stuff. And there's this really great clip of him. They did a MTV Unplugged. They used to have a thing called Unplugged where people would come to acoustic sets. Mm-hmm. And so Nirvana went and did an acoustic set. And at the end of the set, everybody's like clapping as he's walking off. And he does this really like obnoxious like mock clap back at the crowd. Like he's just totally making fun of them. And it's like sort of the drones that are cheering him on and stuff. And he felt horrible about it. And he committed suicide eventually. But it's a very Kurt Cobain is a very sad story. Yeah. A lot of the guys up in the sort of the grunge thing went through some pretty dark stuff. But this song reminded me a lot of that. Like this is what I wanted, but what's become of me is kind of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. I'm gonna keep making fandom references and say that the song reminds me of Darrow. Because of the like
Back to Red Rising.
Yep, Back to Red Rising, because that's all I think about now.
No, that's true. Yeah.
Because it's like
he decided to become a certain thing, and then once he became it, he's like,
that's bad.
It's just totally not what I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, because he. I guess that's a minor spoiler.
Yeah, don't spoil the books.
I won't. It's a good book. You should all read them.
They're all excellent. There are 3 of them. They're excellent.
There's gonna be a 4th soon.
All right, let's do the fall.
The fall. I think personally that this song is very sad, and like it is on I have a sadness playlist because writing, and don't worry, it's just because of writing, and this is one of the songs on it, just because I'm trying to think of what there's a specific like movie or TV show or something that I was thinking of while listening to this song. I don't have it written down though because I'm really bad at taking notes.
Yep.
But like just leaning, like it makes me think of just like the world is ending, and it like there's an Ariana Grande music video about this. That might have been what I was thinking about. Mm-hmm. There's like leaning back and letting everything. I'm ready for everything to melt, to turn to gold and crumble away.
Yeah.
Like that makes me think of just like the world is ending, and you're just gonna, like, you can't do anything about it, so you're just gonna let it happen and spend your last moments in bliss, and I think that's really cool, and it's really sad.
Yeah, I thought this one definitely also had the most religious overtones, like the fall of man kind of thing. They kind of talked about that a little bit, and then I've got in here, going back to, again, even at the peak, he's ready for things to go bad. and sort of seeing the bad. Like he's reached the pinnacle, right, or the summer, right, and then he's living in the summer, but he's waiting for the fall.
Yeah.
Like, when are the leaves gonna die? Like, yeah, this is beautiful and everything, but when are things gonna go bad?
Yeah.
And so sort of living in that moment of I can't enjoy the good times that I'm having right now because I'm waiting for the bad thing to happen. Like, I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah. So that's all I've got notes for.
Ooh, yeah.
So
that is the whole
I enjoyed listening to it. Like, it
Yay!
is not my genre, but I enjoyed listening to it. I enjoyed doing some lyric analysis of it, and sort of going to Genius and reading about it. So I had a good time. Thank you, Pujan, for sharing that with me.
Yay!
Yeah,
I'm glad you liked it, because if you didn't, I would have to disown you as a father. Okay, BuzzFeed Unsolved.
Yeah, let's go to BuzzFeed Unsolved so I can use my soundboard. I don't really want to use the soundboard for a lot of the music because I'm more worried about like the license strikes and stuff. But yeah, I'll throw some clips from BuzzFeed Unsolved. I'll even go back. Let me get my mouse rolling around here just to get us back in the thing.
Hey there, demons. It's me, your boy.
Okay, so what did you want to talk about?
Demons, it's me, your boy.
How do you want to start with BuzzFeed?
Okay, well, my first note of BuzzFeed Unsolved is those good boys. I love Shane and Ryan so much. I've seen them. I haven't actually spoken to them because I'm a coward, but... Yeah,
I was kind of surprised. That was Presley's,
Starstruckness.
Absolutely. Like, we were where were we? Oh,
we were at a party.
We were at VidCon, at one of the after parties at VidCon, and they walked in, and Presley was like, oh my God, that's Shane and Ryan from BuzzFeed. And I'm like, well, go say hi. Like, they're just standing there. And she's like, no, there's a bunch of other BuzzFeed around. I was like, go. And she's like, okay, maybe I will in a minute. Like,
they're like a pack of raptors.
I need to build up. Yeah, I've got to build up my confidence to go say hi and stuff.
I'm
and
a coward.
We totally left before she said hi, or they left or something by the time she was
ready. We left. I saw them multiple times, and I just like had a mini heart attack. Both, by the way, they're both very tall, and that is part of the intimidatingness. Ryan is 5'9", not 5'10", and no matter what he claims to believe, he's 5'9".
Yeah, that's not super tall.
No, but it's taller. It's like a foot taller than me.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Shane's pretty tall.
Shane is very tall, and he is scary.
But they seem like super nice guys. So I'm sure they totally would have said hi if you'd walked up and said hi.
Whoops, I'm a coward.
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah, no worries.
They're really good, and I love them so much. There's actually a really big fandom for this.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised by that. Like, I had one of the guys at work listen to it the other day because he's super into the Adventure Zone. Woo! And so I was like, oh, well, Presley's, like, her other real love right now is BuzzFeed Unsolved. And so I had him, I said, go check it out. And so he went and watched a couple of episodes, and he came back and he goes, it feels kind of educational.
It's educational. That's how I know about a lot of my cases.
His feedback. Like, it's kind of cool that they're slipping in some education. And I don't know, like, how educational a thing you can make about, like, cryptozoology.
I'm pretty sure he's talking about true crime.
Oh, I haven't done any of the true crimes yet, so I can't say anything about that.
That's why I know. That's about everything I know about true crimes.
There's only so far you can go educationally with cryptozoology.
It's not. Wait, I guess that would be cryptozoology.
Sort of. We're cryptids. They're cryptids.
Cryptozoology, by the way, is my favorite. It's a really good word.
I know. I'm sure it is.
It's a good word.
I'm sure it is.
I'm saying about the word specifically, not cryptozoology itself.
Okay. Now I'm looking at my soundboard. I don't remember what some of my clips are.
Oh no.
All right. Which story do you want to start with?
Let's start with let's start with the Demons of Bobby Mackey's.
Demons of Bobby Mackey's.
Hey, Demons.
Okay,
it's me, your boy.
Is that one?
Yep.
All right, what else happened in that one?
Okay, so...
Hey there, demons. It's me, your boy.
Okay.
So that was a really good episode. I think it is a good introduction to Shane and Ryan as people and their dynamic in the show, which, by the way, I love. So that's one of the things I want to talk about is their dynamic.
I can't remember what show they're all from now. Did this come from that one?
Were there Chads back then?
Yeah.
That's what I thought that
Were there Chads back then?
So that reminded me last week on this podcast of you saying, like, oh, that guy's name was Connor. Yeah. Why was that guy's name Connor? And then I watched this, and he's like,
were there Chads back then?
I'm like, that's exactly the same conversation. I'm like, oh my God, were there Chads back then? I don't remember there being Chads.
I don't remember. Are you playing Shay Medeas and Immortal?
No, that's just that was a super funny line, so I thought I would grab that one.
Yeah, that's a good one. And yeah, it's a really interesting case because it was like a murder house anyways, so that's what I liked learning about. There was a lot of murder going on. It was a mafia-owned club for a little bit. It was a lot of things.
Is that the one with the basement, like the beheadings?
Yep, that's the one with the basements and the demons.
I think that one has this one too.
The demon portal.
You ready?
Demons!
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 I like that for some reason.
Do you have the clip where he's just like, because Shane is our skeptic.
Yes.
He does not believe in them. You are a Shaniac, right?
I'm definitely a Shaniac. Yeah.
And he does not believe in any of this. So he does all of this, which, like, even though I am a skeptic, it scares me because he's like, kill me, demons! And I'm don't do that, Shane!
Yeah. Ryan seems to not love that either.
No.
Yeah.
Ryan doesn't like it.
Yeah.
Man, I'm not gonna say what people who are in between Shane and Ryan are called, but that's me.
Okay.
That's me. I'm in between, both from a who I like more and a belief standpoint.
Yeah, so it was entertaining. Like, it was sort of the whole like tie a rope around your waist and go in the room kind of thing was pretty funny. Like,
yeah. I thought because they were tying, I thought they were gonna go in the demon hole because of that.
Well, but yeah, right, yeah. You got to watch Poltergeist because that's a very poltergeisty kind of reference.
To go in the
tie a rope around your waist and go into the other world and then get yanked back out. So yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah, very Stranger Things, absolutely.
I thought that, yes, this is like, it's one of my favorite Buzzfeed Unsolved episodes. I may or may not have like picked it for you just because, hey demons, it's me, your boy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a good episode and I really like it, and it's one of their first episodes because I sort of wanted to show.
Oh, really? Oh, interesting.
Yes,
okay.
I wanted to show you how their technology and how their banter and all of that has advanced throughout the series.
Yeah, I definitely noticed differences in the other episodes, like both from a technology standpoint and from like their comfort level and it's funny to see Ryan now. Like he got, like in the first one, he wouldn't say anything about anybody. And then maybe in the second one I watched, as they were leaving, he would talk a little smack.
Yeah.
And then by the Goatman, oh my goodness.
Mom.
By the Goatman's Bridge, he was talking smack on location, like after the sort of Ouija board part. So I saw him progress in what he was comfortable doing.
I'm proud of him.
Yeah. Okay.
I love Ryan's progression throughout the series. Also, I'm really sorry if I talk about this like it's a fictional thing. I'm very aware it's not. I just talk about it like that.
What do you mean?
I talk a lot about the character development of Shane and Ryan and that kind of stuff. Like I would talk about a fictional character.
Who knows how much they script out what they're doing?
I don't think they do.
Yeah.
But this is like fair enough. I do talk about fictional characters like they're real people, so it's this weird in between because I know I'm talking about them like fictional characters, but someone might not pick up.
Okay, so I mean, a fundamental question about the whole thing is how serious do you think Ryan is?
I think Ryan. Why am I calling him Rye? Why? Who knows?
Stroke?
Too much fan fiction. I think Ryan is definitely very much afraid, and I think honestly partially it's kind of Shane's fault that he's that afraid of everything.
But do you think it really freaks him out when Shane starts talking smack and saying all the things?
I think it does. I think he is
Follow Ryan home. He lives in Los Angeles.
There's only one Ryan Bergara in Los Angeles.
There's like two in the world apparently.
He has to fight the other Ryan Bergara for dominance.
That's right. There can be only one Ryan.
There can be only one. Do you still have that?
Yeah, but not handy.
No.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, I like that. And I do think Ryan is serious. I think that Shane purposefully, like, riles him up a little bit. So it's more than he would be if he was there by himself. But...
yeah, I don't know. I think it may actually, like, ease the tension a little bit. Like, I think if it was just Ryan all there by himself, like, he would have a heart attack.
Poor
right?
Ryan.
Yeah, no, I think having Shane there actually helps him, like, lighten the mood.
Well, yeah, but
even
I think
though he's
that...
offended and thinks he's saying horrible things.
Yeah,
but,
I do think that... He would definitely be very scared if he was there, and it does like relieve it. But he's also like riling him up purposefully, and he's freaking out.
Yeah.
More just because Shane is like already doing a bunch of stupid stuff, and I think it's partially like even though the banter itself does relieve tension. I do think I'm not being mean to Shane, by the way. I do think that Shane is just doing all of this really dangerous stuff.
Yeah.
And can I say screwing with demons? Can I say that?
Yeah, sure.
And like screwing with the demons and stuff.
I think if you ask Shane if he was doing anything at all, even remotely dangerous, he would say no.
Well, yeah, right? I don't take risks like that.
Right.
But I do think like just because he's already put himself in danger so much, it makes Ryan more anxious. Because,
I'm pretty sure he would say that there's no risk at all.
I know there's no risk to it. I'm just saying, right. From Ryan's perspective, Shane is putting them more and more at risk with like everything he says, so that it's adding more tension.
Yeah.
But the banter relieves it a little bit.
Okay, cool. What's next? Which one do you want to do?
Next one, let's talk about the hotel one. What's the hotel called?
Two bros chilling in the hot tub, 5 feet apart because they're not gay.
That's my favorite. That's one of my favorite lines.
We're just two guys sitting in a tub.
I like how scared he sounds.
So, He didn't say that because of that vine.
Nope.
And that vine doesn't exist because he said that.
Nope.
They just are totally unrelated things that happen in the world. But I assume you're not the only one that has linked them together.
No. That's what the entire Buzzfeed Unsolved fandom refers to that episode as.
Two bros chilling in the hot tub, 5 feet apart because they're not gay.
Have you actually seen that Vine, or did you just rip the audio from it?
I did actually watch it. Yeah, I pulled the audio off of the Vine, so I did see the Vine.
It's a good Vine, and I think about it a lot.
Yep.
I'm going to make you, for one of my homeworks at one point, watch a Vine comp, because you never know when I reference Vines, and all I talk about is Vines.
Yeah, I thought this one was really funny to me because, like, they go to what's in essence a luxury hotel.
Yeah.
And then they just leave the lights off all the time so they can still shoot, like, their flashlight orama vision. While they're walking around. And like Shane even says at one point, we could turn the lights on. And they're like, well, no, let's do this, right? And so they just kind of stay in the dark the whole time because they want to keep the mood and shoot in
ghost mood.
Yeah, the night vision camera and stuff, but you're in there's like a mint on the pillow of the room that they're in. So yeah.
It's a scary mint. My favorite thing about this, which I talk about.
They had a jacuzzi, for God's sake.
They had a jacuzzi. It wasn't actually a working jacuzzi.
Two bros chilling in the hot tub, 5 feet apart because they're not gay.
Anyway, I do like, one of the things that's talked a lot about in the fandom is the no homo pillow barrier. In this,
sure. Yeah.
I like that. That's a very specific moment that stands out to me.
Yeah.
And I'm not making fun of them for it. I just thought it was amusing.
I thought that was pretty good too.
The no homo pillow barrier.
Okay, let's talk about Goatman's Bridge because I actually like that.
Yes.
And I actually grabbed a bunch of stuff off of that one somehow.
Show me.
You've outdumbed yourself.
Yeah, that's really good.
Did you?
You've outdumbed yourself.
Holy water pistol.
That's really good.
He has a holy water pistol.
I have. Okay, we got this. This is why I thought you picked this one.
In 1884, Old Alton Bridge was built in Denton, Texas, to connect the town of Alton to Denton.
So your mother used to live in Denton. She grew up in Denton.
Yeah,
You've been
I knew
to
that.
Denton several times.
Even think about
and
that.
somehow you didn't draw the connection.
No.
And so Mommy's been to the Goatman's Bridge.
She has
actually
I can't believe you
spent time
didn't
there.
tell me about this.
Well, she
Why
didn't
are we going
know.
through a
You didn't
cryptid
ask her.
phase?
You didn't go, hey, Mommy, this is in Denton. Why aren't you talking to me about the Goatman's Bridge?
I went through a cryptid.
And although it is really funny because he says Denton. Like it's a really weird prononciation of Denton.
Oh my god!
Because it's Denton.
Have you heard
It's
the
not Denton.
way you haven't? He pronounces.
It went from Alton to Denton.
He pronounces February. So that's just like one of his things. He's bad at pronouncing things,
Denton.
and so am I.
So
Denton.
wait, we'll do it again.
In 1884, Old Alton Bridge was built in Denton, Texas, to connect the town of Alton to Denton. In 1884,
Were there Chads
Old
back
Alton
then?
In 1884, were there chats back then? From Alton to Denton. Yeah, that was really kind of funny the way he said Denton.
He's just not
That
good
was
at
kind of funny.
things.
Yeah, so Mommy's been there. She told us the story about that's where one of the places they used to hang out and party all the time.
Yeah, maybe. Did you do satanic rituals?
No, but we
There was definitely a rumor. There were rumors of those. And every town has those. So this is, if you're watching the YouTube channel or if you want to send us an email, like, I would love to hear what your town's thing was. So I told Presley about this yesterday, I think, or whatever, recently. In my town, we had this one railroad crossing where supposedly a school bus was hit by a train and all the kids were killed, or a bunch of kids were killed or whatever. And so if you would go park your car on those railroad tracks in the middle of the night and turn your lights off, which is really something you want to do, that's highly recommended.
Yeah.
That if you sat there long enough, your car would roll off the tracks. And what you were supposed to do is put like a bag of flour and put it on the trunk of your car. And then after you rolled off the tracks, if you went and looked, there'd be these little tiny handprints in the flour
that's
on
cute.
the thing. So that was the thing where I grew up. Mommy had Goatman's Bridge.
Was there any record
by her.
of that?
I mean, I was, like your age. I wasn't looking up records of.
We
We also didn't have the internet. I would have to go to dig out microfiche in the library and look for a bus accident. I wasn't going to do that. Yeah,
I had one.
I know where you grew up. You don't have one.
The small town in which we used to live did not have one that I can think of, but my homeschool in Richmond did.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And there was this one bathroom by the music classroom that had automatic lights. And like the first rumor of it being haunted was because we were all like 6 and the automatic light came on and we were like, there's a ghost. Mm-hmm. But that's not why anymore.
Moaning Myrtle.
Yeah, Moaning Myrtle. Because there is this really weird and I was like the person who's obsessed with this rumor, so I investigated this very much. So some of the things I say might be really weird.
Uh-huh.
There was this one like safe in the back of one of the stalls. Like it was a safe, and there was like
for money and gold and stuff.
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. And it smelled really weird. And then like we knew about that, and
Are you
then
sure it was the safe that smelled weird? It wasn't a stall.
It was in the back of the stall.
Okay.
It was the back of the stall.
All right.
And then there was this one like super vintage vintage vanity in there too, and the drawers would slide open, and there would be
This is a strange bathroom.
it's a really weird bathroom.
It is, totally.
And there's against the wall, and the drawers would slide open, and there would be really weird things in the drawers.
Like if you pulled on them, they would slide open,
No.
or just if you walked in the room, they would slide
Just
open
generally,
on their own.
just like they would slide open on their own. And there's like batteries. There was a knife at one point. It was a really weird bathroom, and that was my haunted thing. That bathroom was haunted, and there was a rumor that if you sat still long enough for the automatic lights to turn off, then the lights would turn back on because there's a ghost moving.
Oh, yeah, I don't think that works.
I know.
That doesn't sound right at all. But that's very much like the knock 3 times on the bridge, or like there's some ritual that you have to do.
We
yeah,
were
that
all
totally
like
works.
8, okay?
Yeah, no, that totally works. I also got this one.
I'm gonna make creeks.
Like I love that. Like that's awesome. So Shane is talking about like the goatman like threatened to come back and haunt people. Was that the goatman that did that?
Yeah,
It was the goatman, right? I think the goatman was the best episode. I think you're absolutely right. I think they progressed and sort of
And their
gotten more
technology got
comfortable and
better.
gotten better.
They had the ghost box and the Ouija board.
They did. They totally did. But when he's saying like before you die, you can tell people that you're going to haunt them.
Oh no, that was the demon hole one.
Oh, was that the demon hole one? Oh, it totally was. It totally was. That's right. And so he was saying like, yeah, you can totally say that. And it doesn't mean anything to you, right? But later, like that person's gonna, like something weird's gonna happen to them, and they're like, oh my god, it's Shane haunting me. I shouldn't have murdered him.
Oh no,
right?
Shane the demon.
But when he said like, it's gonna, I'm
gonna make creeks.
I'm gonna make creeks. Then Ryan's like, no, that's way too specific. He goes, no, it's perfect because every time they hear a creak, they're gonna think it was totally me that did that, right? So yeah, I just like the way he's like the old like crotchety movie guy that would actually threaten to haunt people later.
I'm gonna make creeks.
This one is definitely from Goatman because it has it in it. This was one of the funniest lines I thought.
Hi, I'm Steve Goatman.
He's like, are you sure it's not a guy whose last name is Goatman?
I'm Steve
Hi,
Goatman.
I'm Steve Goatman. I live 2 blocks away. And
That reminds me, on the drive here, there was a sign and it said someone's name was Bloodgood,
ooh,
which is a really cool name. And like, my brain refused to read Bloodgood. It read blood. And at one point it read Bloodgadood.
Bloodgadood. Yeah, I'd take that. All right, there's also
Any horny boys or whatever they... Horny boys? They got horns.
That's why I made you watch that
so
episode.
that was the total reason I had to
Any
watch this
horny
episode.
boys?
In addition to you can see their progress and see how they've gotten better. Like, thank you for sharing that with me. I'll definitely watch those. Maybe in one of my future assignments, you can have me do some crime ones.
Yes, I'm going to have you do true crime, and then I'm going to have you do the hot dogga, which is
the hot dog. Yeah, you told me to. Yeah, we were talking about maybe doing some this time, but I'm glad we didn't because we're out of time almost.
Oh, are we? Whoops.
Yeah, so let's start moving towards wrapping up.
Cool.
Okay, so once again, you do the housekeeping this time. How can people reach out and contribute to the podcast?
Y'all can, I'm saying y'all, don't make fun of me, please. Y'all can go and check out the podcast at Validate Me Cast on Twitter and validatemepodcast@gmail.com on Gmail. I said it right this time. Haha. And please go ahead and send your thoughts about these things, future things you want us to cover, and maybe we will both watch something that you guys recommend, or just your thoughts on the stuff that we talked about.
Yeah, let us know about the stuff. Let us know your thoughts about the stuff we watched, or like let me know what your haunted thing was in your town. Like,
yes,
I would
please.
love to hear that.
I really want to hear that.
Yeah, I think it'd be awesome. Okay,
I should ask my friends about that.
I have homework.
Oh yes, you do.
Are you ready for the episode 3?
Yeah.
Episode 3 will be you watching Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
I do need to do that.
And we're gonna make Mommy watch with us.
I've watched. You don't like Monty Python?
I hate Monty Python.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I think it's yeah.
I will say I have seen part of Monty
And
Python
obviously it was
once.
a very important part of Ready Player One.
It was.
And so we got to watch that. And then my return to you from Smoke and Mirrors is you're gonna listen to Appetite for Destruction.
Wow.
Guns N' Roses first album. I had a bootleg copy of it before it hit the stores in high school.
The cops are gonna find you, Dad.
It has, and don't spoil it because you know it. It has what is without a doubt the greatest lyric in all of music.
That's Guns N' Roses?
That is Guns N' Roses. It's on this album. And we will talk about it next week on the podcast.
I know that
it may be
lyric.
half of the podcast because I can't get over how fantastic this lyric is.
Yeah, I know
So
what I'm
it has
talking about.
the greatest lyric, the greatest bad lyric, the worst best lyric in all of music history.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
That it maybe something's been lost to time that we haven't found yet, but of everything I've ever heard and am aware of, this is it. It's the gold standard. And it's one of the greatest albums ever.
Okay.
Appetite for Destruction
Cool.
is one of the best albums ever there was.
Guns N' Roses was a really big part of the book that I read, Sid and Teddy.
Oh, yeah.
It was a really
absolutely.
big part of Sid
so
and Teddy.
You'll
So-
definitely be lots of references to them.
Yeah.
And then when we want to feel sad, we'll watch some like modern Guns N' Roses.
Oh no, did they get bad?
After you've listened to their greatness, you have no idea how far the mighty have fallen. But we'll do that later. Yeah,
Rise
so
so
that's
high
it.
and
We're gonna
budget
do
low.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and we're gonna do Appetite for Destruction. And I'm
Yes.
already building lists of things that are gonna
Same.
be your next homework. So you need to be thinking about my next homework too.
By the way, the song that reminds me of, there's a song called Appetite of a People Pleaser, and that's what that reminds me of.
Okay.
It's a good song.
I
You
bet
should
they're
all
not
listen
very
to it.
similar at all.
No, definitely not, because Appetite of a People Pleaser is a Vocaloid song.
Oh,
So-
definitely. Yeah, so far from Vocaloid. Sweet. Okay, so that's homework. If you guys want to listen to those and watch the Holy Grail and listen to Appetite for Destruction and give us some
Ooh.
feedback, then we'll talk about your stuff in the vlog next time. Or
Yeah.
The vlog in the podcast next time.
Well, in the vlog, kind of.
In the vlog too. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, we still don't have a sign off, do we?
So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and we'll
No.
see you next
Hey,
week. Bye.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
And we won't see you next week.
We will see you next week.
Well,
Hopefully.
we don't see anybody.
Well, good point. Well, we don't see anyone on the vlog either.
Hey, thanks for listening, and you'll hear us next week.
Yeah. Or, we hope you have enjoyed this. We hope you have enjoyed.
Audible hopes you've enjoyed. Validate me.
That ending scares me every time. It's very frightening.
Or bear with us. All right.
With us.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.